Hello, and welcome to this episode of Overcoming Overwhelm, a nervous system approach to wellness, success, and health. I'm your host, Mia Saenz, and in this episode, you get to meet Denise Kavaliauskas. And I love her work. She's not just a love teacher, but I love her work because she specializes in several things, which you'll notice. One of them is relationships of narcissistic behavior. When I looked down, I was just trying to gather my thoughts because she has a nonprofit, she has all this stuff. So I'm going to ask her to share with you. Welcome, Denise. It's so good to have you. Oh, and for you audience members, she and I have done this for a long time. We've done many different specials. So I'm really excited to have my dear friend Denise join us.
Yes, thank you, Mia. It's always so amazing to connect with you and to collab and to share these messages with our audiences.
Yeah. Share with us about your business, because you started off as a relationship coach and then you started as we do, we advance and progress, right? And then you started out with bringing in the narcissistic behaviors. And this is why you work with the nervous system to calm it, because what's more stressful than a completely chaotic experience in a relationship? So share with us about you and your business.
So my business started with actually not knowing that this is what I'm going to do for my life. Like I had no clue. It started with the experience that I have 22 years being in a highly narcissistic, abusive relationship with a ton of traumas and dramas that I had gone through and my children had gone through. And based on what I had been through and then what I had come out of and healed all of that, I just was looking for a coach. And there she was. She showed up on my feed and said, I could teach you how to create an online audience in 7 days. And I was like, oh, yay, good. And this is before I knew what like coaches did. I knew there was a football coach. I knew there was basketball coaches, but I had no idea of like what we do, coaching.
Yeah.
And that led me to getting on stage and speaking about my story. And I remember her saying to me, she said, that's really good. You should look up domestic violence statistics. And I remember thinking, domestic violence, because at that time I didn't know I didn't know my truth. I didn't know what I had actually been through. I didn't know about narcissism and all that. So the business, I would say, found me because I wasn't looking for her. I had no clue. The business found me. And it's been a beautiful journey of evolutions, like you mentioned, of starting off with this and then evolving into this. And I'm still evolving. Like I have 3 clients that are in the relationship and want to save the relationship. And that's going amazing. So I would have never, ever thought that I would be helping them save the relationship. But apparently
I saw that and I was surprised and proud of you because, go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry. Just like, wow.
Yeah. I didn't know either. It started with a client like a few months ago who was referred to me. And then she was like, because I don't push anybody to do anything, but I also won't coach somebody to stay in an abusive relationship. But when she described to me her husband and the dynamics, it was very low level. It was not high level abuse. It was salvageable is what I'm saying.
Right.
So because she wanted to save it, I was like, okay, well, that's what we're going to do. We worked together for 4 months. And by the end of 4 months, she was like, Denise, I'm in awe of how my husband has changed. And I never once spoke to him. It was all her.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
And then I had 2 more women hire me. And me, I never advertise like, I'll hope you stay in the relationship.
Yeah.
So it was divine timing and God saying that this is the next level for you. So yeah.
I love that. I remember when one of my clients I was working with had come to me also in a divorce, and I thought, there's so much disharmony. Let's even just talk together, both couples, to see if it would support her on her journey. And they tried. for them, it didn't work out. They gave it another 5 years, and then
Mm-hmm.
it didn't work out for them. And that's okay, right? The
Mm-hmm.
concept of opening your heart to expand is
Mm-hmm.
really powerful to try to
Yeah.
save a relationship. And so this is the great space to come into. How does our nervous system go out of alignment? Because it's obviously out of alignment when we're always in distress in non-working relationships besides our childhood stuff. So share with
Yeah.
us about this.
Yeah. So what you said, like when we're raised in a home where there's a lot of walking on eggshells, yelling and screaming, don't know what how mom or dad is going to be today, especially when you put in alcoholism or any type of a substance that's um, blocking the true personality of that person, and a child grows up in a home like that. It starts very early on, and then we get into adulthood, and like you said, then we get into work environments where there's constant same thing, same behaviors, same people are showing up the same way, and your body's reacting the same way, like fight or flight, walking on eggshells. I don't know if I could speak my voice. I don't want to, ruffle anybody's feathers. I don't want to piss anybody off. Well, what's happening is not only are we shrinking ourselves into the smallest form of ourselves, but also our body is reacting to the other person's energy, their behavior. And when we're constantly like scared, because that's what scared is, walking on eggshells is scared. I don't want to hurt, get anybody pissed off. Um, and your body is in fight or flight. Man, what a toll it takes on our bodies. So the nervous system is our bodies. And when we feel like, or shrinking or don't want to, our body is reacting to our thoughts and beliefs of everything we're thinking and feeling inside of us. And so if we go a lifetime of all the childhood stuff and not healing those emotional wounds, carrying that into adult relationships and adulthood, then now you've got 25, 35, 45 years of this constant fight or flight. The body and the mind are the same. The body is the mind is the body. So they're constantly communicating with each other. So if the mind is constantly in fight or flight, the body's going to follow that. And then that's when anxiety and depression comes on, or maybe illnesses or whatever in the body, because it's this constant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a frenetic energy, and even worse beyond that, right?
Mm-hmm.
As you're talking, I'm thinking about my childhood, and mine was highly abusive and very unsettling, and
Mm-hmm.
didn't know if mom was going to freak out that day or mom and dad were going to fight that night, which they did every
Right.
single night. Fortunately for me, and I just was like, wow, I guess I got a break there. There was no drugs or alcohol involved. And so they
Mm-hmm.
were just mean bastards, I guess, excuse me, mom and dad up in heaven. But literally I love how you shared about how the mind and body obviously are connected. And so what we're experiencing and processing through our head, we're also processing in our body and leaving
Right.
memories in our body. And so it is so powerful to do this work, right?
Yes.
So that we can even communicate with ourselves or think clearly and go, oh, yeah, okay, so I remember the process that Denise taught me, but I'm really amped up. I got to get clear and calm. So we calm our nervous system, and then boom, it settles in all the work that you give them. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's the beauty, isn't it? I love this work. It's only been around for about 20 years, really, about talking about it. There are certain books out there that are more dense than others. Gabor Mate is a good one to study. Just really beautiful. I just love that
Amazing
we can
teachers.
love, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but we can love our body. I've been teaching body love as long as I've been teaching self-love. And I didn't know about the SC, the somatic experiencing and stuff, although I was doing it. And then about 10 years ago, and maybe a little bit earlier, 11, I started doing somatic experiencing. And it was like, it's because it was so new, I kept pretty quiet about it because I'm always one of those weirdos that tries things early. And so it's just an amazing journey, just to not even for our own selves, but for our clients to see that shifting. So let's talk about the next part, which would be, how do you calm your nervous system after a narcissistic abuse or trauma? Yeah. Yeah,
Breath
babe.
is life. Breath is life. And so I've had I support my clients in Voxer like you do. And I've had clients who were about to walk into mediation, and I had one client say to me, Denise, I feel like I'm walking into a lion's den. And
Mm,
I said, okay, step away, and I'm going to Voxer you something. And I literally guided her through a meditation to just calm,
mhm,
gave her beautiful visualizations of white golden light, beautiful light coming into her and calming her, because calm is such a powerful energy.
mhm,
And because calm and confidence go together, right? When you're calm, you're confident. So in order for my client to walk into mediation and get everything that she was asking for in the divorce, I had to get her into a calm, she had to get her body into a calm and confident, right, state of mind. So walked her through that, and it changes everything for us when we can just breathe and just know that our breath is life, and that is also
mhm,
our success. Our breath
mhm.
is success because we're here. So that's just one way that I help my clients get into a calm state of mind. And so right there, right, for the audience to connect the mind and the body. So
Mhm.
when you close your eyes, you go into the mind and give visuals or think of visuals, and then the body is what breathes up and down and gets you into a calm state. They work together, and they love working together. They love each other. And that's why when the mind is walking on eggshells or scared to do this, the body, because they're so in sync with each other, reacts and responds to what the mind is thinking. So if it works in the maybe negative way or the bad way, of course it's going to work in the positive and the good way. So
Yeah.
that's the main thing that I help my clients with, is to
Beautiful.
just breathe.
Mhm.
Just breathe and give them visuals, beautiful visuals, to help them calm their mind and their body so that they're powerful beings and walk in and get everything that they're asking for.
Yeah. And also taking it to other levels of their life. They've had a fight with their partner, even by phone or text,
Yeah.
right? Begin to breathe,
Yes.
even do the candle, breathe in,
Yeah.
and then you feel yourself lower, right? And get in tune with your body. And then the breath becomes, I love breath work and I love
Yeah.
working with my body. You know that over the last couple months, I was dealing with a health thing, and I used breath work and the other somatic tools, like the VU, and when I was in serious pain, ooh, through my body. And I'm telling you, that pain stopped. The breath work stopped the pain. Yes, I was on medication, but it does it for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever experienced, or I'm just feeling, I'm seeing it, because the one of the hardest things in our life is like a controlling narcissistic person
Mm-hmm.
that's overtaking us. And we've all experienced it, or probably
Mm-hmm.
most of us, in one way or another. Didn't mean we had to be married into it. We could have been birthed into it. We could have our closest friend turn ugly all of a sudden, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But have you ever experienced with yourself or hearing your clients? Because I did personally, and I was like, whoa. So I just started doing my work right away. But about 2 years ago, my body has screamed before, but in different ways. My body, when the family started getting irritated, this was when we were having a gathering, I had sharp daggers like go into my body, like the feeling of sharp, massive being stabbed or pain. And I was just that's the fight or flight. I got to run the hell away, and I'm like, wait
Mhm.
a minute, this is interesting. So then I calmed myself down. But like, this work supports every aspect of us. Do you want to talk more about, anything else that you want to add to this?
Yeah, actually, it's interesting that you said that because what came up for me, this is the beauty of what we get to do, right? We get downloads of other people and what they went through and feel and kind of dial in on the core of what was happening. So when you said that, what I got a visual of backstabbing, people
Mhm.
who stabbed you in the back. And so
Interesting.
again, if our mind is, oh, I've had this relationship and that person stabbed me in the back, or we feel that person stabbed me in the back, and that person, then the body will replicate what the mind feels,
Mhm.
right? And so maybe, I don't know, but for you, that's what I got, that there was, since you were in this family gathering, people think family reunions are so great. They're not
Yeah.
great, right?
Not all the time.
Not unless you've done this work and
Yeah.
you can know how to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
But what I got was a lot of knives in
Mhm.
the body, so the pain what felt like that, and
Yeah.
it was your body and your mind connecting and feeling physically and feeling emotionally. You were in this family reunion and there was either one or some people or even just you feeling like this is my family. Like,
Mhm.
the thing about families, everybody, is that we were born into them for a reason. You got to find out that reason. Not
Mhm.
every family is roses and rainbows. There's so many families that are so toxic, and then there's many different levels of toxicity.
Mhm.
So it's okay to look at your family and truth, my family's fucked up. It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's so interesting because we do have the opportunity. And I've been searching or seeking, and this is why I'm a love teacher, since I was probably 4, and on this
right.
journey of kindness and all that. So for it to finally hit my body that way at that time was
Yeah,
shocking to me because, I've been doing this for years, right? And then all of a sudden it was like, boom. It wasn't yesterday, it was some years ago, but still, that memory, I can still see myself standing, talking, what was going on. And so yeah, it's so important. So now what I would do, I'll just say, since I brought it up, I would go do my work. I would
yeah,
probably start to breathe and
yeah,
tell myself I am safe, I am safe, and
right.
start to examine and touch my legs or my arms, and I'm safe, and then
Yeah,
breathe that out and come back to center. And it
yeah,
just takes less than a minute,
yeah,
to do that, to
yeah,
literally ground ourselves into the reality of who we are and what we've created. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I
That's
just love this
beautiful.
work. I love this
Yeah,
work so much. It's amazing. Yeah.
yeah. I wanted to say this too, Mia, for your listeners, that even so, like you and me and other coaches that I know who have done a ton of emotional healing on themselves, there's always another level coming up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so in the beginning, as you know, it's like, oh, I don't want to even face my shit. It's
Mhm.
this and that.
Right.
But then once we get into the habit of it, and like you said, now I know what to do. I would just go out and do the work. Once we get into the habit of it, it's easier and we can accept it more. It's like, oh, what do
Yeah.
they say? Another level, another devil, right? And something else is coming up, and now we're so seasoned in what we do. We're like, okay, I know what to do. Whether we're able to take care of it ourselves or having a coach for us to be able to go, this is what's going on, and I need your insight on how I can handle this now because I thought I healed this or whatever, or maybe it's something completely different. But to be able to whip it. Whip it.
And the really cool thing is you've been at yours almost probably as almost as long as I've been on mine. Um, but I've really been working the steps, really. I mean, I've been into self-love and healing and discovery and all that for years, but really working it. For me, it started when I wanted to be a coach and I wanted to be a relationship coach. I realized that was where, and I started working with couples and I brought in the whole self-love thing because I realized something's missing between them. And this
Mhm.
was in 2009. And so I've been working on that. And these things, everybody, because sometimes people are like, oh, it's just too hard. I don't want to do it's not.
No.
What you need to know is you're going to live the same crappy life until you change your life. And
Mhm.
what happens, Denise is talking about the onion peels, literally. That's what I call them. And so,
Mhm.
what's at the center of the onion? The sweetestness of it.
Mhm.
We can't stop growing because what happens, we go backwards. We allow humanity's crap to come back in our head. Stay on your path. Love what you do. We were talking earlier, and what did I tell you? I'm loving life more than anything I've ever had in my existence before. And that's where, and you were saying the same thing. And that's where we get to enjoy
Yes.
our life. We get to grow ourselves, love ourselves, and love the ones around us. It's about, it may sound cliche, oh, having a love fest. It literally is. You've
Yeah.
healed your relationship with your kids and your family. I've done the same with mine, right? With
Yeah.
being able to stand there and have a different relationship with your children, with your exes, with your, mothers or whatever, cousins, whoever used to upset you the most,
Mhm.
be able to still have them in your family where I pushed them all away for a long time because I'm like, you're not ruining my joy. I'm picking out my own family, which was my friends. And then I came back around to wondering why I was not loved by my family. And then I
Yeah.
realized, okay, Dodo, you closed them out, right? And so to open that door and reignite everything is a fascinating, beautiful experience because there
Yeah.
are many that have to close the door. Talk about that a little bit. You have to close the door sometimes
Yep.
temporarily
Yep.
until you're strong enough to open it up.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you have toxicity, narcissistic abuse, any level of abuse where it's what I was describing before, where when that person is in your presence, it's constant walking on eggshells, fight or flight. I don't know what to say. I shrink. Then there is relationships that you have to close doors with, even if it's just so that I can separate myself and I can go within and heal myself, and then I'll reopen that door. But right now, that's too far ahead. Right now, just close that door to that relationship so that you can go within and heal yourself. And the other thing that I wanted to share, Mia, is that when we do this work, there's such a, a sense of freedom and liberation within our souls. We don't feel trapped anymore. We don't feel controlled anymore. And when we talk about abuse, that's all there is, right? There's control, there's trap, there's manipulation, there's all the things that go with abusive relationships. And when you heal yourself, you have this freedom and liberation to be yourself and to say, because sometimes it comes back around, like my mom, who didn't talk to me for over 10 years and then showed up on my Facebook, and now we're talking. And there's things that I have to say to her
Mhm.
that the old Denise would have been like, I don't want to start no shit.
Mhm.
But now I'm able to communicate that with her without being pissed off, without being angry, without being like, listen to me, hear my point.
Mhm.
Just be able to communicate it with her and not have the attachment of, did she hear me? Does
Mhm.
she hear my feelings? Does she know? Nope. I expressed, I got it out of me. That's all that matters. It's totally up to her if she receives it or not. Not my job to do.
What's really cool about the emotional intelligence work and the healing of the body and all of it together to become grounded and balanced in our own lives is we develop a new conversation, a new language that we
Mhm.
speak. And that's a wholeness within us, right?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is so beautiful. It doesn't have the finger pointing, the shaming, the blaming, because we've learned to remove that from the conversation. That is not what love
Right.
is. That is not how we move forward.
Right.
we don't want to agitate somebody unless you do want to agitate somebody, but that's not in the space of healing. So I
Right.
love that you brought that up, because that must have been quite an experience for you, right? Because when we shift and change, and then we have to open these doors again. And I'd like to say it's so wonderful that you get to open the door with your mother. My mother was mentally insane, schizophrenic, bipolar, uh, an, uh, uh, and actually a narcissist in the 70s, one of the first women to be officially declared, because they didn't believe it was a woman's disease, it was a man's.
Mm,
And so I will never, except for in the spirit life, like I talked to her soul.
mhm,
Went there to heal it, because we don't get to when they're gone. And
mhm.
the human that's left here on this world doesn't need to continue to suffer. You can
Right.
shift. So
Yeah.
beautiful that you brought up family and all, because and also, I know you teach this too, how we were raised also helps determine oftentimes what relationships we go into, what we attract. And so,
Totally.
yeah, so I'm like, you're an expert on that part, because now you get to also heal your mother wound too. I've had to heal mine by myself, which is fine. I healed it years ago. I
Right.
can say I love my mom, even though she's gone. I love my mom. I didn't like her as a human being, all the
Yeah.
time, but I love her. I would do anything for her.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. We all have somebody in our family who's shown up this way, whether they were NPD or not. We have somebody in our family that's shown up this way, where we've struggled emotionally to receive love. We give love to these people, but
yeah.
we struggle with receiving love from them. And so when we go into our healing, then we figure out what the dynamics were and why I am her daughter and why I chose her to be my mom or dad or whoever it is. And
Mhm.
it's such an amazing journey to see it for what it really is, which
Yeah.
all love. And one thing that I wanted to say for your listeners, Mia, is that you mentioned you can't be in fear and in love at the same time. And literally, they are polar opposites. So fear on the map of consciousness for your listeners is at the bottom and love is at the top. And there's so many in between. So yeah, if you're down here in fear, not feeling safe to speak your voice or share yourself, but you want to be in love, that's the journey from the bottom to the top,
Yeah.
yeah, of the map of consciousness.
Such an interesting conversation about I took it, you took it. The journey from fear to love is so beautiful and powerful. And even if your first step or your second step is, I want to shift, I want to love, what does love feel like? So then you break it down, because love is everything. So if you
Mhm.
break it down, for me, my first things were, I want to learn to laugh, because I was so depleted as a child, and I was married at 18, going to a dinner party, everybody's laughing at the jokes but me. And one
Mhm.
man leaned over and said, "Wasn't that funny?" And I said, "It was hysterical." And he said, "But you're not laughing." I'm like, "Yes, I am." He goes, "No, you're not." It was the first time I realized I laughed internally and not externally. And as you know, I'm the biggest laugher and joke teller now. It took a long time, but I got there. And so then what would it be for the next individual? Whatever you want, you
Mhm.
guys. Joy, happiness, peace,
Mhm.
whatever, right? And then we just journey on up, opening the space to love. It's
Journey on up. I love it.
to the higher side instead of taking the Sanford and Son song from the TV show. We got to write that. Love that.
I'm on it.
That's awesome. I love that. In fact, I think we all need to get together, all of us coaches, and sing it together.
Yeah.
That. Um, Share with us your free gift, honey.
Heal Your Heart mini course. It's a 3-part mini video series that I put together where when your listeners opt in just by putting their name and their email address, it's completely free. They'll get 3 separate videos. They're about 10 to 20 minutes each. And I dive deeper into the work that I do with my clients and the work that I've done for myself to get them from the bottom level of the map of consciousness to the higher levels, which is everything you said: love, joy, peace, right? Happiness. So
Yeah.
that's the gift.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. I'm so
Thank
glad
you.
you're here. Yeah,
Thank you for having me.
thank you. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and stay tuned to this channel because we're always bringing amazing content. And thank you for joining us. Bye.